project for today is to make concaves in nesting pads. So this is going to be our nesting pad. This is raw material, no concaves built in here yet. And we only need 2 or 3 supplies. Now the first thing you're going to want is probably some kind of a wobble wheel. This is about a 6 or 7 inch diameter, and it's a dado, a wobble wheel. If you don't have a wobble wheel, go to your local building supply and buy a couple of really inexpensive 7 1/4 inch blades. They'll work fine. You'll actually be putting them together, putting them side by side in place of a wobble wheel. Wobble wheel's got a nice wide curve on it. The next thing you're going to want is just a stick. Nothing fancy. Doesn't matter on the dimensions. Probably 14 to 16 inches long. And that stick, you're going to need a hinge, and you're going to need a little 4x4 block. That's going to be the pivot block. So the methodology, what we're going to do is this. We're going to attach this hinge to this spare block that we have here. We're going to attach it like this and underneath. And the reason we're going to do that, this is going to be our pivot hinge. So this is going to move back and forth. This will drill a hole in, and it will fit in that, and then we'll position the whole thing over top of the wobble wheel once it's installed, and we'll actually spin it around. So let's just attach. Let's start off by attaching this to this, and then we'll fasten this to the fence and line it up. Oh, and we'll install the wobble wheel as well. What we've done, we've attached the hinge, and then we've actually fastened this to the table saw. Let's have a look here. We've actually fastened that to the table saw with a couple of clamps. So this hinge actually moves up and down. Now I've actually positioned this, there's just a bolt in here, and it's fastened underneath here with this nut. This bolt is aligned with the table saw this way, and it's aligned with the armature in the saw this way, so that when we spin a piece of wood on this, it's going to give us a perfect concave. Now the other thing that we need to do, we need a little spinning block for the top, just a little hole in the very top, and that's where the bolt is going to spin around. Doesn't need to go through, just need a bit of a hole in there. So now this, what you need to do next is center this hole on roughly where you're going to want the center block, or where you want the concaves. And from there, you just fasten that down to the top with some screws. Make sure it's off to the side so you don't hit it with your wobble wheel when you're doing it. I'm just going to put a couple of screws in this one. That should be fine to hold it for our purposes. Now I actually measured this while we were offline, and it takes 6 rotations for me to get up to about the 3/4 side on this. So from here, what I'm going to do is check to make sure that that's not hitting anything. Let's install a dado blade, or the dado. Is that lined up there? Yeah, pretty close. Okay. Okay, that's all lined up. Now we're just going to put this into that block, and it's going to take me 6 winds to get the blade up, and I'm just going to spin that around each time that comes up. So let's start. Let's do a couple of. We'll just do a couple of spins. You can't take the blade up too far, too fast. About half a turn at a time is about all you can do. And there you can see, there's the first beginnings of the concave. This is just poplar, so it'll be a little bit rough, but you can see how that works. Simple as that. I'm finding that this hinge on here is, I should have used a little bit stronger hinge. I like to see something that's a little firmer. This one wobbles back and forth a little bit, so put a little bit stronger hinge on there, and you'll be good to go.